Welcome back friends, dear students. I hope you liked our last video and you are staying back at home, staying safe and regularly taking the topics for your study. Don't forget to keep down the notes of the topics which are being taught to you for your future references. Okay. In the last class, in the last video, we have studied about the soil resources, your land resources, and today in this video we are going to talk about the water resources. Water resources. Water. What is water? It is an essential component for us to live and survive because without water, the life on the earth is almost impossible. We are going to study about the water resources. When we talk about water resources, we say that about 71% of our earth's surface is basically covered with water. And due to this inferences drawn from the geographies, we say that water on the earth's surface is abundant. Water on the earth's surface is abundant, that is correct. But is the pure and safe drinking water on the earth's surface is inabundant? This is the question which we can think about, that water resources are abundantly present on the surface of the earth, but are these water resources which are present, are they fit for our drinking purpose? Are these water bodies which are present on the surface of the earth, these are fresh for using them? Okay, before starting with the topic, we are going to study about the hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle. You might be well familiar with this word, hydrological cycle. You might have studied in your previous classes also. I know you have studied it. Okay, so hydrological cycle, in short, we term it as water cycle. What is this water cycle? We are going to study about this hydrological cycle or how this hydrological cycle works. Okay. Firstly, we are going to talk about the water bodies. Evaporation, condensation, rain. Okay, hydrological cycle or water cycle is the cycle in which the water evaporates in the form of water vapor from the earth's surface, reaches up the sky, forms the clouds and falls down on the surface of the earth in the form of rain and joins back the water bodies from where it has firstly evaporated. This is what is hydrological cycle. Means from water bodies, when the sun shines brightly, the water from the water bodies, even from the plants, okay, from the plants, this water starts getting evaporated. When this water starts getting evaporated, it evaporates and reaches up the sky. There the process of condensation is performed. Condensation means this evaporation, the water vapor which has evaporated from these water bodies, it starts cooling down. When it starts cooling down, then the water droplets are formed. Okay. And when the water droplets are formed, they join together to become heavy. And when these clouds are formed, when they are not able to hold those heavy raindrops properly, then those raindrops fall on the ground back in the form of rain, and the rainwater again in the form of water joins the water bodies, and this hydrological cycle keeps on continuing day by day in its time. Now, if you want to conduct an experiment at your home about this hydrological cycle, how you want to see that how this hydrological cycle works. Okay, so one thing is, take some water in a container, take some fresh water in a container and keep that water on the gas stove and lit the stove. Now when the water will start boiling on a very high velocity, it will heat down, and when the water will start boiling, the water will start evaporating and in the form of water vapor. When the water will start evaporating in the form of water vapor, then what you have to do is put a plate or put the cover on the container for 2 to 3 minutes, and after 2 to 3 minutes, when you will remove that container from that boiling water, you will see that some of the tiny droplets have taken place or they have formed on that containers, on that cover. So in this way you can link that same process in the hydrological cycle. This is what hydrological cycle is, and when this hydrological cycle is disturbed, then there is a problem of water scarcity on the earth. When we are talking about the water resources, we are saying if the hydrological cycle is disturbed, or when the water cycle is disturbed, then in that case a severe problem occurs on the surface of the earth is the water scarcity. What is water scarcity? The unavailability of water. What type of water? The fresh potable water. When the fresh potable, or you can say when the potable water is not available on the earth in a substantial form, in an adequate form, which can lead to this situation of water scarcity. If the potable water on the surface of the earth is not present, it will lead to water scarcity, and this situation occurs only when the hydrological cycle is disturbed. How the hydrological cycle is disturbed? Either by natural causes or by the human causes. Why is it necessary for us to conserve the water resources? Is because that life on the earth is never possible, or it will never be possible in future time also without the availability of water. So in order to conserve the water, there are basic steps, basic things which have been taken, which we'll be discussing in our next video. Further, if we talk about water resources, we will talk about the multi-purpose river projects. What are the multi-purpose river projects? Multi-purpose river projects means those dams or reservoirs which are being built on the river in order to conserve the water for the future purposes. When we are talking about the multi-purpose river projects, we are going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of this multi-purpose projects. What are the advantages? First, we will look on the advantages. Decrease in floods. The other point is afforestation. Third is proper navigation. Fourth one is proper availability of water resources. Okay, one by one we are going to take up this topic. That is, first one is decrease in floods. How can you say the construction of reservoirs or dams can decrease the situation of floods? We can take an example, or we can consider this through a diagram. Okay, Look over here. Suppose this is a river. This is a flowing river. Okay, this river is flowing with a very high speed. The speed of the water in the river is very high. And when the rain occurs, the level of the water in the river rises. After the rain, the situation becomes this. The level of the river water rises up. And when the level of the river water rises more than the banks of the river, then the situation of floods occur. Now, when the situation of the floods occur, what happens? The river water starts flowing away from its banks, covering the nearby area. Now, in order to get relief from this situation, in order to decrease the situation of floods, what do the people do? They start constructing the reservoirs, or they start constructing the dams. Now, suppose this is a dam which is constructed on the river. Now it hindrances, or it stops the high speed flow of the water, and whatever the water due to the rain falls in this river or collects in this river, that water is also stored here in the reservoirs. And when the quantity of the water becomes less in the river, then the situation of the floods decrease, because when the level of the water is below the banks of the rivers, then the situation of floods cannot occur, and this can only happen due to the help of because of the help of these reservoirs or the dams. Another thing is afforestation. How can you say that the construction of dams increases the situations of afforestation, or the plantation of trees occurs more when the dams are constructed? When the dams are constructed, a lot of soil particles they are collected together in order to build a dam. So in the further time, or in the future time, this soil does not get easily eroded, or it does not causes any kind of hindrance, any kind of problem to the river or to the reservoir. The trees are planted nearby the reservoir so that the roots of those trees can easily bind the particles of the soil and stop them from getting eroded and blocking the passage of the river. Like in the last video, I have already told you that how afforestation can conserve or can protect the soil from getting eroded, and how the process of deforestation causes the soil erosion. So you can link the same point with those explanations, that afforestation, the trees are planted along the river, these reservoirs or the dams, in order to protect the soil particles from getting eroded from the region of the dams. Then proper navigation. Again, with the help of an example. Navigation. What do you understand by this term navigation? Navigation means the routes, okay, the routes through which the work of import and export work can be done, or by which the people can travel from one place to other through the water transportations. This is what is navigation is. Now, how the proper navigation through these dams can be done? Suppose this is a flowing river, okay. This is a flowing river. The river is flowing at its very high speed. Okay, the river is flowing at its very high speed. The speed of the river water is very high. So much high that no person or no ships can withstand in this high speed water. Now, if the ships or the people cannot withstand with the high speed of this water, then it is not possible for anyone to make a navigation through this flowing river. Now suppose a dam is constructed. Suppose a dam is constructed on the river. When the dam is constructed on the river, what happens? The highly flowing speed of the river, the high flowing speed of the river comes and enters the reservoir, the dam. From here, the speed of the water is very high and it is entering the reservoir. And when it is entering the reservoir, the water starts collecting in the reservoir. The water starts collecting in the reservoir. And then from the outlet in a reservoir, this water is released in a very normal speed. So here, the speed of the water was very high, and here, due to the construction of the reservoir, the speed of the river is controlled, and in a very normal flow the water is released from this reservoir. And now here the speed of the river water is very normal, and from this point the navigation purpose can easily be carried out without any difficulties. Okay, then the other last point is proper availability of resources, water resources. Now in a high speed flowing river, it is very difficult for the fishermen to catch the fishes because they cannot withstand with the high speed of the flowing river. So what happens when these reservoirs are constructed? When these reservoirs are constructed, whatever the resources or whatever the marine creatures are coming along with the water of the river, they start collecting in this reservoir, and it is very easy for the fishermen to catch the fishes or whatever the aquatic life they want to catch. It is very easily for them, or this is very easy for them to catch from these reservoirs. So proper availability of water resources is made or is ensured within the areas of this water reservoirs. These all were some of the advantages of the water reservoirs or the dams which are being constructed over the rivers. Now, every coin has two faces. Okay, every coin has two faces. So here also, if we are getting the advantages of these water reservoirs, water dams, so we have to face some of the disadvantages also. What are some of the disadvantages? Number one, first we will write disadvantages. The most basic and prominent disadvantage of construction of these water reservoirs or multi-purpose river projects is migration. What is migration? Migration refers to a situation where the people move from one place to the other place. Means, suppose there is a river and a reservoir has to be constructed over that river, and there is a small village, okay, which is coming in the way of the construction of that dam. So in that purpose, this village has to be disturbed. How it is to be disturbed? The people from this village are rehabilitated, or they are resettled from one place to the another. They lose their lands, they lose their homes in order to construct the reservoirs. So this is one of the basic and one of the most important disadvantages that can be linked to the construction of the dams or the reservoirs, that the people living in those areas, they become homeless. Second one is deforestation. Okay. Now you might be thinking that in the previously when I was telling the advantages, there you have told in one of the advantages you have told that afforestation is being carried out, and now here you are telling that in disadvantages deforestation is carried out. Yes, this is a basic question, but the ways of both the understandings is somewhat different. How it is different? Suppose the river is flowing through a forest. Okay, when the river is flowing through a forest and in that particular region the dam is to be constructed, then what happens? That area has to be cleared. That forest area has to be cleared, because until and unless that area is not cleared, the construction of the dam is not possible. So for the construction of the dams, the deforestation purpose is followed, but only there this purpose is followed out where the river is flowing through the forest and the dam is to be built in those forests, for which the forest area is to be cleared so that the construction of the dams can be carried out without any difficulties. And after deforestation, the process of afforestation takes place, because they have to plant some of the trees nearby the reservoir areas so that the soil erosion can be protected, it can be conserved, so that the soil may not block the passage of the flowing river, leading to many other difficulties. Okay, these were some of the disadvantages. So construction of the reservoirs are somewhat advantageous also and somewhat disadvantageous also. Now after constructing, now we are going to study about the causes of water pollution, how this water pollution is occurring day by day, how it is causing problems for us, for our upcoming generations. So we are going to talk about the water pollution, what are the various causes. Water pollution. First of all, we are going to talk about what is pollution. When we are talking about water pollution, we first come across this word, what is pollution? What is the proper definition which you can talk about this word pollution? Pollution refers to a situation where any unwanted matter or any unwanted particle is introduced in the environment without its need, okay, without the need of that particular particle or particular thing, okay, introducing that thing in the environment forcefully, okay, that is termed as pollution. Now when we talk about water pollution, where there are various ways through which the water pollutions occur. One by one we are going to see causes. Number one, excessive use of pesticides, detergents, etc. Number two, untreated waste from factories. Over irrigation. Blockage of sewers. Fifth, household garbage. Okay, one by one we are going to talk all about these things, these causes. Firstly, yes, one more thing, sixth one is deforestation, most important. Okay, one by one we are going to study all about it. First one is excessive use of pesticides and detergents. How the use of pesticides and detergents is they are causing water pollution. We are going to study about it. Excessive use of pesticides. When the farmers, I've already told you about it, when the farmers sprinkle the pesticides on the crops, they sprinkle the pesticides on the crops in order to kill the pests so that their crop is saved and it does not get damaged. And the pesticides, apart from falling on the plants, some of the part falls on the soil. It causes soil erosion. Lose in the soil fertility. This I have told you. But how this causes water pollution also, we are going to study about it. Once the pesticides has been sprinkled on the crops and the pesticides, the part of the pesticides falls on the ground, falls on the soil, and it gets mixed up with the soil. Now suppose when the rain occurs, the same water mixes with the soil which has already got polluted with this pesticide. It mixes with the water, and when the water runs from the agricultural fields towards the nearby water bodies, it mixes with that water body and pollutes the water, okay, increasing the pesticide content in the water bodies. Now detergents, how detergent causes the loss of this water pollution. Detergents, whenever the detergents are used in our home, and when this water is easily released in the nearby water bodies, then these detergents get mixed up with the fresh lakes, fresh ponds which are there nearby your households, and it causes the water pollution. Now second thing is untreated waste from factories. Okay, when the factories, they use what is the use of water in the factories? The use of water in the factories is that the water is basically used as a coolant in the factories. The water is used to cool down the machines. Okay, so when the machines are cooled down, then what happens? The chemicals which are there in the machines, okay, used in the machines, they get mixed up with the fresh water. Now after mixing with the fresh water, what happens? This water is released from the factories without any proper treatment. After the releasing of the water from the factories without any proper treatment, what happens? This water is discharged. This water is released very easily to the nearby water bodies, and due to the toxic contents which have already mixed up in that water which has been released from the factories, it mixes up with the nearby lakes, rivers, ponds, or nearby any freshwater bodies, and increasing the level of toxic substances in that particular water body, and hence polluting the water. After pollution, not only the water is polluted, but also the risk to the life of the marine resources also increases. Now the other thing is over irrigation. Now suppose the irrigation facility is being carried out and the irrigation is okay. Anything within its limits is okay, but anything beyond its limits is not good. So over irrigation, when this situation over irrigation occurs, the use of water is more than it is required, and if this water needed is more than is required, it decreases the level of the underground water, and once the level of the underground water decreases, it causes water pollution also. Then we come to fourth, blockage of sewers. How the blockage of sewers? Now in our household, what happens? We are not properly treating the waste. Now when we are not treating the waste properly, what happens? We can link these 2 points together. When the household garbage is not being treated properly, it is thrown without any proper treatment on the roadsides. Okay, and after it is thrown on the roadsides, what happens? When the rain occurs or due to any other hindrances or due to any other activities, this garbage from the household, this garbage goes simply and it enters the nearby flowing sewers. And when this garbage enters the nearby flowing sewers, this blocks the passage of the sewers. This garbage blocks the passage of the sewers, and when the passage of the sewer is blocked, then what happens? The water from the sewer lines starts getting overflooding their passages, and hence when this this sewage water, it starts getting out from its way, it enters the soil, and through the soil it enters the ground table, and hence it pollutes the underground water table. Now the other thing is deforestation. How the deforestation causes? Again I am telling you the same thing, that the roots of the trees bind the soil particles. When these soil particles get loose due to deforestation, the soil particles are easily eroded. towards the nearby water bodies, leading to the floods, leading to the water pollution. These all were what about the water pollution. So today we have studied all about these things, that what are water resources, what is hydrological cycle, what are the river projects, what are the advantages of river projects, disadvantages of river projects, what are the important river projects, multi-purpose river projects that are found in our country. And we have studied about the water pollution, what are the causes of water pollution, and what is pollution. Everything we have all studied about, we have covered all about water pollution. So today we all have studied well. So I think today we have covered all these topics. Now in the next class we are going to study about the conservation of various types of resources. So today you have to study all these topics, study very, very carefully, keep preparing the notes, stay home, stay safe. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.